point where the finale aired the day before Winter Soldier was released in cinemas.
Right.
So you knew what was going on if you went in after seeing that finale. And then after that, they were pretty much just told, yeah, go do your own thing. Like,
right, like go have fun.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like
Honestly,
they get
I never watched it because I never heard anyone say anything good about it. But apparently, they've got 7 seasons of it.
Yup. They do
I
some really cool shit in those 7 seasons.
I get the impression it's very much like the CW shows, where it's like, if this is your brand of stupidity, you're all the way in. But if not, you're like watching the first couple episodes and you're like, man, what is this? What did you guys do? 7 seasons?
Well, it's one of those things where, like I said, the first season, it was very grounded, down to earth kind of thing.
Well, and also, like, why is this character back that died in one of the Captain America movies? Like, why is he back here?
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not great.
Oh, good. Great.
Yeah. But no, like the big misstep they have is the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was used to promote a lot of other stuff. Like the Marvel planned on doing an Inhumans TV show. So an entire season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was spent introducing you to the Inhumans. And then they just fucking tossed that show like it was trash. So that's basically an entire season worth of promotion for a show that doesn't come out.
Yeah, it's almost like what they did to Daredevil and all the other really great Marvel Netflix shows. Weird. Odd. Interesting.
I also forgot that there was supposed to be a Moon Knight show coming to Disney Plus.
Yep.
And Hitmonkey, which made me laugh because I completely fucking forgot about Hitmonkey.
Yeah. Boy.
Yeah, it's fucking. I don't know. There's a lot of fucking stuff going on there.
Yeah.
But no, I mean they introduced Ghost Rider into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's good.
Oh, did they?
He's a fucking badass in it.
Oh, I remember they seen a lot of those GIFs on Twitter where it's like they showed the transformation. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's how you do Ghost Rider. Okay,
yeah,
great.
Because it's not Johnny Blaze. It's the second Ghost Rider who I can't remember the name of for the life of me.
Never remember. Yeah.
So it's not the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. It's the other one.
Right.
Who's fucking really solid in it too, and they treat the Ghost Rider as his own character too, which I enjoy.
Ardivian in chat says Robbie Reyes.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank you.
He is the other Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
He's fucking solid as hell in it as well.
Yeah.
Really good fucking show. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does not get the respect it deserves. And they went into space, and they started introducing all of the space stuff too.
Yeah.
Including the Kree and shit like that.
Great. Man. Good times. Okay. You guys ready to start this thing?
Yup. I guess. Maybe. Yeah.
Sort of. Question mark. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello, I am the stereotypical English guy.
And the Nip.
So does that make you our Tolkien English guy?
Heyo! That's the end of this episode.
Right.
Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Can we fire him, please?
We'll see you next week. Bye.
I can go back to bed. I don't care.
If you want to hear more jokes and stupidity like that, totally uncensored, patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. You can hear the Outcast every week, where we spend a lot of time talking yang about Arrow, and very happily talking about the rest of the Arrowverse shows. We also, you get early access to We Roguelike It, Critical Misses, and if you're listening to this when this comes out, please go to our Patreon page, even if you're not a patron, and go vote on our next Season 7 of Critical Misses. We need your help. We cannot decide, so we figured we would get all of you fine peeps here in to help us. The Season 7 themes are the first 4 Alien movies versus the 4 Mad Max movies.
Yep.
And
I just want to
yes,
communicate myself out of the blame for this situation.
okay,
Boston's the one who's not seen these.
right. I feel like I've seen part of the first Alien movie, but not enough to say like, yeah, I've seen it. And both of those, all four of those movies are great. So it's sort of like, well, there's no shoe in for either one of those. So instead of flipping a coin, we'll get you all to vote. So check out patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. And even if you're not a patron, this is open to the public. So you can go vote, and whichever one all of you decide, we'll go watch for season 7.
Yup.
Yeah, we're halfway through recording season 6 now, so it's time for like a week or two of voting for season 7. So your vote counts. Go check it out.
It does.
Yeah.
And it's basically pick a franchise. It's like which one
essentially
to expose Boston to.
Yeah.
And also for the record, we are doing the first 4 released Alien movies. We're not doing them in chronological order. We're doing them in release order. So
yeah,
the first 4 of those.
I know there's always like a machete order for seemingly everything, but we're just going in chronological release order.
So. And if we have to stop there and never do another Alien movie, I'm fine with that.
Right. So go check that out. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
I have been playing, starting with patreon.com/E1M1, the ones and numbers. Don't forget to mention the fact that we have a $250 goal in there for somebody to play scary games too. So
for spooky times.
Tell a friend. Tell one other person. They don't have to be a patron. Just tell somebody else to listen. They tell somebody else to listen, so on and so forth. And hopefully we eventually get Boston playing scary games. It will be fun.
Yep.
Because he's a wuss. Okay. So now the question is, do I start with the stupid or the stupidest?
I feel like we should wind ourselves up to the stupidest. So let's start off with the less stupidest.
Okay. Roundguard.
Oh, God. Okay.
Wait, well, hold on. Do you know what this game is, Boston?
I sure do. I have it on my iPhone right now.
Okay.
I've played Roundguard. Apparently, I forgot to mention it on the show.
Yes, you did. So for those of you who don't know, I was gifted this game by a friend of the show, T-Bomb Rocks, because it's an indie game, which is Peggle.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But it's a roguelike.
Mm-hmm. And it like it bills itself as like a roguelike pinball game, but it's not really pinball. You're right. It's
pachinko.
Yeah, it's much more like Peggle Pachinko. Like it's, to me, when you look at something like what's that Dung Beetle Mailman Delivery
Island Express.
Yeah, that's a pinball game, but this is less. This is veering further from God's Pinball Light.
Yes. So essentially, yes, it's a Peggle roguelike.
Yes.
Also, fun fact, I'm pretty sure I always spell rogue wrong. I'm pretty sure every time I've ever written roguelike, it always says rouge-like because I'm an idiot. But it has the roguelike trippings. It has a map that you go through. You complete a level, then you pick an exit. You go to the next zone, and then you continue down. And you have to go save the king while earning as much gold as you can, because that's what plucky adventurers do, apparently.
Yep.
So far, I have actually ask me the question, Boston.
Have you finished Roundguard?
Yes, I beat the game once with the easy mode relic attached, and also with the one character, which I actually finished that run today.
Nice.
It seems interesting so far. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's perfect. I'm not going to say it's great. I've now unlocked the dailies and the weekly challenges, so thanks for that. Again, every game ever that needs challenges, because apparently they do.
I think my only criticism for this game when I started it was when I picked it up on release because it looked like a fun mobile pinball thing. My first run was sort of like, why am I not doing any damage to any of these enemies? Like, am I playing this thing wrong? And then I die and an experience bar starts filling up and I'm like, oh, it's a roguelike. Okay. Cool. It would have been great at, like, the thing that I really respect out of a lot of roguelikes when they start them is you're supposed to die. Dying is part of the experience. And then be like, okay, cool. I'm not going to worry that I'm, like, not doing enough damage or I'm playing it wrong. Like, this is just, just got to get stronger. I wish this game had done that.
It probably does now because I never had that issue at all. It was very crystal clear up front, telling me exactly what it was.
Okay.
It also helps that thanks to you and me, the enabler, we kind of turned T-Bomb Rocks and Brain Eater into roguelike aficionados. So they literally buy everything that exists with roguelike on the Xbox platform.
Love it.
So that's how I found out about this. No, one of you, Boston.
One of me.
There we go. But it seems fine so far. It's honestly, it's not a bad little palate cleanser kind of game.
Yeah,
it's like cool. I can do like 20 minutes. I'll do this floor, then I'll move on to the next floor. Save, quit, come back to it later. Thank you for a save and quit function in a roguelike. It makes a big difference.
Yeah,
but so far it's fine. It's fun. There's a lot of bouncing things. There's a lot of attacks and status effects and health bars and experience bars and things like that. So it's like, I'm sure when I take off the easy mode, it will be harder.
Yeah.
Hashtag everything is terrible. And it will be fun for everybody, I swear.
Right.
The next least stupid thing I did, I played Hitman some more. Because
the first one?
The first one.
Okay.
Because I have to beat that before I can move on to 2, before I can move on to 3.
Right.
Not that I've just... In that one sentence, I probably talked about 200 hours worth of playtime for
no
the
big deal.
So, yeah, take that into account. Because I'm an idiot, I forgot how to gain mastery on levels. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I actually know now, but I spent a lot of this week playing bonus missions and doing stuff that didn't give me mastery, so that I could now go back and figure out how to get mastery, which I'm aware of now. You do the stupid challenges. You get higher mastery on the level, you get to mastery level 20, you unlock a whole bunch of stuff. So that's what I've been doing. I've been messing around on Sapienza, firing cannons at ships. I wish I was kidding, but that's true. Impaling priests on church spires. Probably not great. And there is so much content in that game, it is unbelievable for Hitman. I'm now playing the bonus missions because there's achievements tied to it. And one of them is based in Sapienza. There's the Icon one, which people have probably heard other people talk about this, I don't know, 6 years ago. But it's the movie plot one where they basically turn Sapienza into the set, and the guy you have to kill is the lead star, but also the director of the movie. And there's something really fun about ramping up the pressure on the air piston and then turning off the safety feature on the big robot's teeth, so he literally ramps up into the teeth and then he just gets smushed. It's so dumb. Like, it's hard to sell this game. Like, it genuinely is. Like, if you've played and enjoyed a Hitman game, you already know what you're in for. If you don't know what it is, it's really hard to sell this. It's like a very clearly, obviously, Hitman walks into a place, steals the clothes of someone you've just met, does an impression of him without changing his voice, suddenly becomes a master drummer, a master wine taster, a master model, a master golf trainer.
Hello, it's me, Helmut Kruger. How are you? It's just like, wait a minute.
He is a master blank. You don't have to do anything else. Just whatever costume you're in, he can do it. It's almost like he is Mario, and he's absorbing people based on the hats that he's wearing.
Right.
But yeah, Hitman is great. Hitman is dumb. Hitman is fun. I will continue to play Hitman until I've beaten 1, start and beat 2, and then move on to 3. It's also worth mentioning that my next mission in Hitman is I think it's Morocco or something like that. It's the one with the guys in the embassy and you have to get into the embassy to get him, and I hate that level so much. That's one of the reasons I stopped playing was that level specifically, because I do not like it. But I'm just going to follow the opportunities. I'm going to get through it and have a good time while I'm doing it. The reason I played Hitman 1 again this week is because friend of the show, Mackie, is a Hitman expert. If you want to know about Hitman, hit him up. at Big Mackie on Twitter. Go ask him why Hitman is great. He can give you valid, well thought out reasons why Hitman is great, not just the dude knows how to drum.
Right.
Like, he's the one who can extol the virtues of this series. But the reason he comes up is because somebody is also a bit of an achievement hunter. And there is a game mode in Hitman 2 which is called Sniper Assassin, which is essentially the same as a normal Hitman level. Here is a level, everyone is doing their routine, you have to mess with it and kill people, whatever. However, you're not in the level, you're on a cliffside with a sniper rifle, and you have to figure out how to mess with it without actually being there.
Oh, interesting.
How can you electrocute this person to death without being there to twist the knob on the water thing and then to put the battery lines into the water thing? How do you do that with just a sniper rifle?
Right.
It's a really interesting look at a Hitman level. It has a multiplayer mode.
Oh.
Which has achievements. Mackie needed those achievements. I'm an idiot, so I jumped in and helped him get it. I'm not for the record, I'm not an idiot for helping my friend get achievements. That's fine. I will happily do that any moment of the day.
You love achievements so much.
But also I'm an idiot because I literally haven't started Hitman 2.
Oh, right.
That was
and my achievements are now the multiplayer achievements. So,
Mackie in chat says, just wait until you get to Colorado, winky face.
Yeah, thanks for that. Go away. But yeah, so it's the same kind of format, except you shoot stuff. So, like, it's got, obviously, all of the Hitman challenges and feats and things like that, which give you bonus experience and increase your score multiplier and so on and so forth. But it'll be like, okay, you have to ruin the wedding. And the way you ruin the wedding is you shoot all of the instruments so that the band can't play. And then
that's clever.
If you zoom in far away, there's the wedding cake sitting in like a doorway with the doors open. So you shoot the wedding cake to destroy the wedding cake.
Gotcha. That's really clever.
It's a Catholic wedding, so there's obviously the wine for the vows is sitting on the altar, so you shoot the wine at the altar.
Okay.
Don't shoot these things while people are standing behind them, because it's like 50 caliber rifle shots and the bullet will destroy that and then the innocent civilian behind it.
Sounds a little excessive for cakes and wine bottles to begin with.
They know what they did.
Yes, exactly. But it will give you all of those challenges, like here are, here's some rats, kill all the rats, that'll get you a bonus X amount of just dumb things that Hitman gives you to go in and experience and play around with. Except it's just with a sniper rifle. And it was weird at first, but genuinely by the time we got to the third level, it was like, okay, I'm starting to be able to read these levels. I know where as a sniper, I can shoot this person in the face and hide his body without leaving my perch.
That's cool, man.
So, like, a guy's walking past a pond. You shoot him while he's walking past the pond. He gets, obviously, he gets headshotted, and he tumbles backwards into the pond.
Oh, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, because then his body is hidden, and that's how you remain on guard. Man. If you let people try and evacuate, and you can still kill them as they're leaving, but obviously the whole point is you're an assassin. You're supposed to kill every single person at the wedding because there's like 900 of them.
What a super cool way to change up that game. That's really cool.
And it does the same thing that Hitman does, where it's like, okay, I need this person to be in this location to execute them in this particular style.
Right.
What tiddlywinks do I need to rub together to get this person from A to Z? Except instead of being the tiddlywinks where you are literally leading them there with coins, like, ooh, a piece of coin, ooh, a piece of coin, ooh, a piece of coin. Like, instead of doing that way, you literally lead them with bullets.
Right.
Or, you shoot a chandelier, which means they can't have the meeting in their normal place, so they go to the secondary location for the meeting. Oh, there's a cannon there. What happens if you shoot the cannon?
Great.
So you could see where this is going. It does that whole thing of, you can go in, okay, poop, 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 main targets are dead, I'm out, see ya.
Right.
You could do it that way. or you can play things the Hitman way and just mess with everything. Because
you can set up all the dominoes and just push that one little one that seems pretty innocuous at the beginning, and all of it just kind of comes together.
Exactly. And
sounds a lot like how Sniper Elite set up too. That was the fourth one. Yeah,
it's that similar thing where it's like, okay, I can get this guy over here by doing this, by shooting this generator, which makes the guy walk over there, and then you pop him in the head and so on and so forth. It's a fun game. It's a fun mode. I'm specifically going to call out hippie curtains, I believe I referred to them as, because I'm so tired that my brain doesn't function at full capacity anymore.
Are you talking about like those beaded curtains?
Even better, not those. The plastic ones that like are in medical facilities. I couldn't remember the name for those, so I kept referring to them as hippie curtains.
Yeah, all right, I see it.
Because that's what I do now. My mind goes, okay, it's curtains, but it's not curtains. It's like the hippie curtains, but it's not. So I'm just going to call them hippie curtains because I can't think of essentially the butcher version of hippie curtains.
You know, like in Dexter, that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Dexter is a prime example of that. Dexter's dad will appear in the Arrowverse soon, just so you know.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Okay. Now, the question is, moving on from Hitman 2, it's a great game. You should go play it. Also, Hitman 2 stuff carries over to Hitman 3, so maybe do everything in Hitman 2, so you've already done everything in Hitman 3. Yeah,
carry it all. Go to the Pokemon Center. Carry it all over. Yep.
Boo, 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 boo.
That's right.
That jingle will be forever stuck in my head.
It was perfect too. I got nothing to add on that. Yep.
Now the question is, for my final two games, which is the dumbest?
Okay.
You said go from stupid to
always the question on this show. Which is the dumbest?
Okay, I'll go with the dumbest because I'm playing it.
Okay.
Anthem.
Oh God. Okay, hitting that Anthem train while it's hot, huh?
Uh-huh. Obviously, Anthem Next has been officially canned.
Right.
So, I'm no longer excited about waiting for the potential of this game to fulfill and live up to its once great destiny.
Wait.
No pun intended. Literally, I did not even mean that to be a reference.
Can I interest you in a similar game, now that you mentioned it?
I didn't mean it that way. Yes, officer, I said what I said, but in context it means something completely different.
My ears perk up like a Doberman's.
Yes. Fun fact, I was literally on the last mission.
Moon. Yep. Boy, that last mission, huh?
Last minute. Yeah, that's like a 15-minute mission. With the tease at the end.
Yep. Yeah, that tease, man.
It'd be really good if, they could update the game with some of this stuff that they're talking about here.
Man, that tease at the end was sort of like, yeah, all right, now we're talking. Yeah, sure, okay. That last boss fight sucked. Jesus.
Yeah, it really did. It was literally nothing special.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Was that the one with the big dude in the middle of an arena that was throwing lightning everywhere?
Yep.
Has
like 3 health bars.
Yeah.
Yep. And he puts orbs down, and then you shoot the orbs so you don't die.
Yep. Yay. You did it.
Yay. I got the Heart of Rage achievement. Yay. I go back to the home base, and it's all clear and green and spruce, and now I don't know where I'm going.
Which, is still a really cool thing that throughout the entire game...
that improves.
The people are actually rebuilding... Looking at you, Destiny. There's actually rebuilding the place that they're living in over time, and it actually does get completed. And I like that there's that big mural or whatever you can look at and get those really...
that's the end game stuff.
The super long missions where it's like you need to do a ton of each of these things. I think that is actually pretty cool too, but there's no reason to do it.
Legacy of the Legionnaires.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
And I know that because as soon as I finished the game, it was like, you've unlocked Legacy of the Legionnaires. And I was like, cool. Is there an achievement for it? Because if there isn't, I really don't care.
Yeah, when I finished the game and they told me that, I was like, cool, what is that? Where can I go to find this?
Yeah, you go talk to the dude with the weird bee goggles. He looks like a Metal Gear Solid boss.
Yeah.
And he explains the whole Legion of Dawn story. It's like, cool, I literally listened to this 2 years ago when I last played the mission about
Right.
opening the Legion of Dawn gate. So
Been
it's good that
through
you're
this.
recapping it for me, just like I want games to do when I take that long of a break.
Right.
But something tells me most people don't wait 2 years between opening the Legion of Dawn gate and then doing this.
Probably not. Yeah.
Except for Mackie. We'll get to that in emails. Hey. But it's
Yeah. It's just like a whimper of a boss fight, especially if they built it up throughout the whole game, and then it's just like, okay. Like, I think it's a cool payoff that the city got rebuilt, but there's still nothing more in there that's interesting, so...
Well, now I can do repeatable contracts for the different factions.
Sure.
And now I have to do repeatable contracts for the factions because I've got to get myself a masterwork rated javelin. Because that's an achievement. Yay.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Why do I do this to myself? See, when I was talking about me being stupid playing it, this is what I'm talking about.
Well, the unfortunate part, too, with Anthem is as much as EA and BioWare are committed right now to keeping the game alive, there's no telling.
Like that.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, there's like 20 of you playing this game. We're just going to shut the servers down. And like, no one's going to be upset because no one is left.
Yeah, there's a reason why I decided to load this up now before in 6 months they announce the server closures and close it down. Because I have experience with this. Thanks, FIFA and Ultimate Team servers, for letting us know 2 days beforehand that the servers are going to close, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So yeah, they can't be bothered still to just patch in, oh, hey, you own this game, here's all the multiplayer achievements, because we closed down all the servers.
Yeah, exactly.
Go look at, I think it's Need for Speed Underground. Maybe it's one of the most wanted for the 360, which when it launched, it had about half of the achievements were broken and unlockable. Even when you completed the requirements, you just couldn't unlock them. And they patched it, they threw DLC in, they updated, they did title updates with new content and everything else, and they never bothered fixing those achievements.
Great.
Fun fact, though, it's a really good way to find out who is a hacker on TA is to see who has those achievements unlocked. That means you use save file glitches.
Right. Man.
Not that I'm a giant nerd. And that's actually something I learned like 8 years ago, for the record. But it's Anthem. So the funny thing is, I still had all the exploration missions to do. Like where you have to go and fly around and find all of the points of interest and whatever in the Bastion, whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like literally missing one from every zone.
Great.
One.
Yep.
And there are websites out there with maps telling me exactly where I need to go to get the one that I don't have. Because like, here's the list. Here's my one question mark. It's that one. How do I get there? It's there. Fly there. Get it. Leave.
Nice.
Move on to the next one. So I unlocked like 15 achievements in Anthem yesterday, and they were all exploration based.
Great.
Yep. It's mostly just going to be the rep grind, because of course there's rep grind.
Of course, yeah.
The weapon challenges grind, because of course there's weapon challenges grind.
Boy.
And the gear grind, because you have to have a masterwork.
Everything.
Yes, which means that I have to do the raids.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you. It's okay. I'm just going to rope in Rob and get him to help me with it.
Yeah, who wants to do strongholds?
Which the crap part about those was that nobody took the time to explain them to you when you first started out to begin with, and now definitely nobody cares to explain them to you. So if you've never done them before, you have no clue what you're supposed to be doing.
Yep. It's going to be fun. I'm in for this rabbit hole because I need my 50 gig back.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Yeah. I need it back because I tried to install 2 games this week that I wanted to play, and I couldn't because of the 50 gig thing.
Right.
Deficit.
No Man's Sky is 11 gig, folks. 11 gig for No Man's Sky.
Yep.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is 113. Halo 5 is 93 gigs.
Oh, woof.
The Master Chief Collection is 130. Grand Theft Auto 5 is 96, and people wonder why I don't keep Call of Duty installed. This is why.
I can't.
Yeah. 150 gigs for multiplayer maps. Woo!
Yeah. God.
Which I love the fact that they literally put out a statement saying, just so you know, if you have a 500 gigabyte PlayStation 4, you will not be able to put like Call of Duty on that console by itself anymore.
Our horrible future is here.
We're there.
Yeah.
So yes, the final game I played this week, and I'm saving this for the stupidest of the stupidest because it is the stupidest of the stupidest. It is Kingdom Hearts 3. You know why this is last. You don't need any explanation.
No, that is indefensible.
I finished Arendelle. So
okay.
For those of you not in the know, that's the Frozen planet. I finished that. I still love that song. It's still great.
Yep.
I literally, as soon as the first notes hit, I was like, controller down, volume up, let's go.
I like that they just play the entire song and just like animate the sequence from the film in the game, and they're like, yeah, there's Let It Go. It's like, oh, okay, you just played the whole thing. Okay, cool.
With a little bit of additional voice acting as the trio of idiots respond. It's like, wow.
Yes. Whoa, Ice Castle. It's like, thank you, Sora.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Yep.
It's a fantastic song. There is a reason why that song was everywhere for 10 years, and I'm glad I avoided it then, because it may have killed me at the time.
Yeah.
You just learn to block it out eventually.
Yeah, my kid loves Frozen. I can tune that entire movie out.
Dude, we bought the Frozen 2 map pack for Minecraft. Spoilers, that thing's glitched to hell on the PlayStation, so maybe check that out before anything. But yeah,
maybe don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, between that song and all the new Frozen songs and all the Frozen toys that we have bought her that all sing the song, it's like you black out for a moment when you hear that song. It just doesn't even register anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I beat Arendelle. It was fine.
That's an okay level.
I did like the giant frost giant being in there as well, like the snow giant.
Marshmallow?
Giant. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I know characters.
That's right.
I don't. What of it? And from there, I moved on to discussions about hearts, discussions about the power of waking. It's like, are these people like in the Matrix? Like the power of waking?
Right.
I don't want to use the correct terminology here because that means something completely different in 2020.
Yeah. Thanks, Nazis.
Yes.
I blacked out for a moment. How did we get from Frozen to Nazis?
Oh, yeah, come on.
Okay.
If you still don't know,
still talking about Disney. Okay.
We are. Speaking of Nazis.
Heyo. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, the power of friendship. Right.
Yes, the power of friendship. I did the Winnie the Pooh level as well, which, sure, why not? Winnie the Pooh.
That one in this one is fine.
Yeah, it's a match 5.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yep. Mm-hmm.
Sure, why not? We are harvesting Rabbit's crops by destroying his crops. That makes perfect sense.
Yep, it all checks out.
If only Rabbit could implement that in the real world hunger would be over.
That's right.
It would be fantastic.
Get on it, Rabbit.
Yeah, I did all that. He's got a rumbly in his tumbly, so on and so forth, and said various Winnie the Pooh jokes here. Speaking of things that have been, the definitions have changed in 2020. Winnie the Pooh, folks!
Right.
And so, yeah, the power of waking, all that jazz. It's not Anthem. Is it Anthem? Is Anthem the Wise? Is the guy with the wizard hat?
That's Yensid.
Yeah.
Yensid, that's the guy I was thinking
It's
of.
Disney backwards. That's how I remember it.
Stupid. That's so stupid.
Dude, I told you, wait until you get into the names being backwards and stuff.
You
haven't even begun yet.
That's not a Kingdom Hearts thing, surprisingly.
Disney.
I played the PlayStation games. I played the PSP game and the DS games. Believe me, I'm used to all that madness.
Yensid seems so angry in this game, too. Like, he's supposed to be like the wise, like he's ushering these teams of Keyblade wielders, and he's always like, "Oh God, all right, it's my 3 o'clock with these idiots. What are you guys doing now?" It's like, whoa, Yensid, come on, man.
Because one of the 7 hearts to protect the light has vanished and gone to the realm of darkness. I mean, come on. Of course he's going to be mad. And
this happens every game.
The organization have got their 13 hearts, or so Sora was led to believe.
Right.
They've got their 13 vessels so they can embrace the power of darkness.
That old song and dance.
It makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
As you can tell, I'm straight on the Kingdom of Hearts bandwagon again with actually knowing what these things mean.
Pulled you back in.
Yeah, no, they didn't. They irritated me enough to the point where I start to remember things. Is the problem?
That's the secret behind Kingdom Hearts. This thing pissed me off, so I'm definitely never going to forget this stupid mystery black box.
100%. I swear, if I don't go to a Tron level, I'm gonna get mad.
I don't remember. I genuinely don't remember.
The only reason I have played these games is because there may be a Tron level in there.
The promise of Tron.
Yes, 100%. You tell me that they put DLC out and they had a Tron level in it. You would buy it, you would download it, and you would re-download the game just to play the Tron level. You know you would.
I would. Tron is dope.
Tron is dope. Especially with Daft Punk music going on as well. It would be fantastic. Right. And this game came out after the new Tron movie, so it should have the Tron.
Put all that stuff in there, man.
But it won't. It'll be a stupid Link, and then you'll have a stupid light cycle thing where they drive in circles, and then the stuff blows up. That's what the Tron reference will be in this game. I hate Disney so much.
Where'd you come from?
Yes, exactly. I want Sora to say Biodigital Jazzman, and mean it.
Kingdom Hearts 3 Game of the Year.
Yes. But yeah, I got to the Pirates World. They've got the same knockoff Johnny Depp that they have had forever.
Of all the things to keep putting in the game, stop putting Pirates Worlds in.
Dude, I wouldn't mind. I really liked the first one when it was based on the
first movie
of the Caribbean. The first movie. That was great. This is Dead Man's Chest. Arguably the worst of all 6 of the Pirates movies.
And even it has like an Assassin's Creed style like ship battling system. Mm-hmm. That's not that great.
It's fine.
It's serviceable.
It's entirely passable because Kingdom Hearts is a medley of every other game you've ever played, except they're all split onto their own individual planets.
Right.
So you've got your snowboarding game in Arendelle. You've got your match 5 in the stupid Winnie the Pooh book.
100 Acre Wood.
Yes, you have your ship-to-ship combat thing in this version.
Yep.
In Monsters, Inc., you've got your Airblade from the PlayStation, which was that weird snowboarding thing that everybody
Sonic Adventure style.
And then you have your weird Everspace in between each travel point for each planet.
Yeah, exactly. An on-rail shmup. Yeah.
You want to be Elite Dangerous is in there as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hate Kingdom Hearts, and I'm still playing it, and I don't know why. I do know why. It's because I want my 50 gig back.
I like that. I always like that you're held hostage by these terrible games, and you're like, I have to finish it. And we're like, you can be free. You don't have to. And you're like, no. You don't. The safety of my family is at risk. I have to finish this game.
Dude, listeners know me by now. This is my problem.
Yep.
This is my curse that I have to deal with.
Yep.
And I'm at the point where it's 80% and bust. I don't care. I don't care if I get all of the stupid secret things. If I can get to 80% by cracking an egg a couple of times, I'll do that. I'll finish the game, get to my 80%, and be done with it.
Yep.
And I will still check out and see if I can get the full 100%. Don't get me wrong.
Right. As long as you don't have to do proud mode.
Which I don't. I checked out before I even bought the game, dude. Like, literally, I was like, Kingdom Hearts 3 Achievements Proud Mode. And it said there was none, so I did not care. There's a reason I haven't installed the second one, other than hard drive space.
Oh, woof. Yeah.
And then it comes with 9 other games that you would also have to get achievements for.
And one movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do the movies come with achievements too?
I believe so.
Sweet. See,
I think like every chapter of the movie is an achievement.
No.
Just hit play all and walk away.
Yep, exactly.
You're not the only one who said this to me. So let me address this right now. He said, there you go, Moon, an easy one. You don't get to say an easy achievement when a game like that has got 700 hours worth of achievements to get
in 6 games.
T-Bone Rocks did this to me the other day as well. He was like, there you go, Moon. I'm playing this game, and like I got like 20 achievements within the first 30 minutes. Like, yeah, dude. And how long is it going to take you to get the rest of them? Because it's a roguelike, so it's going to take 700 hours. You know it is. and I will go for them because I'm not crazy.
I can't help myself.
But yes, that is all I've been
this
playing.
version of
Take
Moon.
it
It
away.
makes me happy.
Yeah.
Take us away from Kingdom Hearts, please, Nimbo.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's sad because I started replaying Kingdom Hearts 1, the remaster, this week. No, I'm screwing with you. No.
Oh, thank God.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
No, actually, if you want to talk Kingdom Hearts 1, I would be happy with that because
It's a
that's
great
got
game.
Squall in it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Squall
there's no
as
way I'm
any other
restarting
name
that.
will still be Squall.
I started my son down that path years ago, and we both finished 3 when it came out. So that's where we're at with that. So anyway, speaking of games that we finished, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
Hey.
My son, daughter, and myself finally beat the last 3 levels of this game.
Congrats.
We are done.
Talk about freedom.
Yes. He spent a lot of time grinding out these characters. We were using Deadpool, Wolverine, Psylocke, and then the 4th was always just whoever we swapped in and out with. So he spent a ton of time grinding these characters out, got them to level 65, going to I think it was the ISO Enhanced Grid or whatever, which is basically the skill tree from Final Fantasy X, the Sphere Grid.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he has all of that unlocked, which helped out a ton. It made the game easier. None of us died, but it still took forever, and it didn't feel like we were doing a ton of damage at all. But even that was the weird thing. I don't know if it was because he had the character set up differently or what, but like playing as Wolverine, I would be doing like 1,000, maybe 2,000 damage to something. And then my son would come in with Deadpool, and all of a sudden he's doing like 7,000, 12,000, 15,000 damage. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Right.
So
out of curiosity, was his grind for this experience based around an allowance of any kind?
no. He just really wanted to beat the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was fine. I wanted to beat it too. It was just we both understood that with my daughter, his sister, that with her along, she was helping, but she wasn't fully understanding everything. So a lot of times she would just be off in the corner jumping. Which,
Right.
believe it or not, with the crappy camera and the fact that you can't keep track of your character most of the time, she's not the only one jumping in the corner because you lose track of your characters so quickly in the heat of everything that you're just jumping, trying to see where you're at and what you're hitting.
Right.
Anyway, so that was why he went through the whole grind process, was to help her out as well. She was getting it and she was being helpful. It's just every once in a while her health, you would see her take like the smallest sliver of damage to her HP and she would start freaking out about how she's about to die.
Right.
Meanwhile,
Call the police, I'm dying.
Meanwhile, my son and I, who are playing characters that regenerate health, are like in the middle of it with like a sliver of HP, and we're both like, "You're fine. You're fine.
Everything's fine."
Yeah. So we there are certain things that you can pick up sometimes in the levels, like just in Asgard for some reason. There's just missiles that you can pick up because Hydra took over Asgard, so now there's missiles here. So you pick them up, and of course everyone can pick them up, but you move slower while you have these things.
Oh, sure.
What we found out though is that if you jump, you move faster. So then there's 3 superheroes jumping down this hallway, each carrying missiles, acting like a bunch of loons before we chuck them at a boss. And I forget what part of Asgard it was, but we got stuck on something and we couldn't figure the way the camera kept rotating. It kept messing with what we could see for what direction we had to go to. And the map was technically pointing us in 2 different directions and we couldn't figure out how to get into the second direction. And my son inadvertently went off the map, which then flipped the camera around so then we could see the other spot. And him being a kid, he's like, "Hey, this is the way." And then he kind of silently chuckles to himself. I'm like, "Yeah, I heard it too, kid."
He's like, "Oh, the way over here." Yeah. It's just like, come on, dude.
So him being him. But yeah, and then the final boss, I don't think anyone cares, but you fight Thane, who has the infinity armor now, which makes him look like a Dragon Ball Z character. Like full on Cell Was it Cell? Was Cell the one with the purple head?
No, that's Frieza.
Okay, so like the final form of Frieza then.
It depends on which form of Frieza you're talking about.
Either
That's
way,
true.
think of Cell or Frieza, how they're all bulked up with their armor and stuff. All right, that's what Thing looks like, straight up. Looked like they just pulled him straight out of Dragon Ball Z and said, "Here, you're the final boss now."
That's great.
So, that fight was pretty cool. We got everything done. All the stones are safe. We've spread them across the galaxy, and now my son's doing all the DLC stuff.
There you go.
So,
good luck, kid.
He's already done all of them except for the Doctor Doom DLC, which gets you the Fantastic Four characters. He couldn't do that one until we had beaten the game. And apparently he found out once we had beaten the game, you have to be level 90 starting out to do that DLC. So he's been doing nothing but grinding out characters again. Which he managed to unlock Cable for me, which was the main character that I played in the other two Alliance games. Because Cable was just really badass in those two games, but we had to do something like stupid specific to unlock him in this one. And then once we could unlock him, we had to do this infinite gauntlet challenge thing so that way we could get him. And I'm like, whatever. I'm already playing as Wolverine. We need the regen. Let's just go.
Right.
But, so he unlocked Cable. What are we on Sunday? So he unlocked him yesterday, and he came to me today when I woke up and said he already has Cable at level 65.
He's a natural.
Yeah. So the kid knows how to grind.
Yeah.
He's a child.
Right. That's right. Yeah. I got nothing but time, man.
Yeah, it's the weekend and all of his homework's done, so he's got nothing but time to grind.
Yeah.
Make that money. Next game that I played, I was feeling like playing something old, so I randomly popped in Legends of Heroes Trails in the Sky, first chapter. Don't know why, but I'm already 15 hours into this since the last time we recorded, and it's really hard because these were they weren't SNES games, but they were still in that 16-bit graphic style.
Yep.
And they still kept the difficulty of SNES games in here.
They sure did.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time grinding in this game. So that way I can finally take on the first main mission that you get. And which was just fighting rats in a sewer. Right. You know? The most common enemy to start with any role-playing game. Right.
Those and slimes.
Yeah. And those just no mercy. This was like some Dark Souls crap where you're constantly missing against a stupid rat and the thing just one-shots you.
Yep. That's about where I finished with that game when I tried playing it on the PSP. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go in the first dungeon and take on some rats. Just like massacred. It's like, okay, nope.
So I was like, all right, no, I'm gonna do this because I haven't played these in like years. It probably was the PSP version was the last time that I played these when they came out, and I don't remember beating all of them.
Are you playing on PC this time?
Yeah, I'm on Steam right now. So I did a ton of grinding. I did manage to beat the prologue, which you get an achievement for. That's called "Why Is My Present a Boy?" And then, but I remembered after doing the first couple of areas that once you've opened a chest, you grab the item, you can check the chest again. And this is something that Falcom does with the Legends series, is that they will always put notes in a chest. So instead of it just saying it's an empty chest, you get a whole other note that you read after you've opened it. Like the one that I had posted on Twitter had said, "This chest is empty because of you. Good job, hero."
Yeah.
It's just all kinds, like the last one that I did, when you checked it again, it was out in a field and it says nothing is in here but a dead lonely spider.
Great.
Wait, is it dead and lonely or dead lonely?
I don't remember where the comma is in the sentence, so
yeah,
take your
Good choice, I guess.
Yep.
And plus the time that this came out, their translations have been pretty spot on, but it was during a time when the translations weren't always all that great. So literally the comma could have been in there or not have been in there. So it really is your choice on how you want to read that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still, I beat the first boss so far, which that was a hell of a ride. And I hate because later they fixed it in the Legend series where when something misses, whether it's an enemy or your characters, if a enemy misses hitting your character automatically counters them. And if your character misses an enemy, the enemy will automatically counter your character.
Not as nice.
In this game, they don't do that. It's just miss. That's all it is. And you're constantly whiffing, and it doesn't matter how much you boost your stats up. And I always hated that about this series, is that they are more hardcore about you missing attacks than any other RPG series I've played.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't help with being as weak as you are. There's like a plant monster that you fight that will shoot you, and they can shoot you anywhere on this battle map, and they will knock you back. So if you don't take them out, you will keep getting knocked back to the opposite side of the map, and then you have to run back and waste like 2 turns to get back to them to hit you. So then you have to hope that if they go to shoot somebody, they shoot your other character. It's a whole stupid thing. These games are hard, but I still love them. They're stupid. But after this, I went back and started playing Remnant from the Ashes. Because it was free on PlayStation Plus this month. I played it originally on Steam, realized I still hadn't beaten it on Steam. I fought the final boss. I just apparently never beat the final boss.
Oh, okay.
So I know what's happening, but because it came out on PlayStation Gold this month, I was like, I'll just play it again. Why not? I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I do. I still was having a lot of fun with this game until I hit the mid-boss. Then it reminded me that it was a Souls-like game.
Yeah.
The mid-boss, I could not beat for anything.
Oh, wow.
And the first one that you run into is called Gorefist.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a Gore band member. Yep.
Uh-huh. So its deal is that you have it's basically like a super beefed up version of a mid-tier enemy that has like this I-beam that it's running around the map and it's going to hit you with it. The biggest problem isn't the boss, it's the fact that it's constantly spawning these root enemies that just blow up. They're like the Flood, where they'll run at you and suicide and blow up. They spawn everywhere, and it doesn't matter how many times you've cleared out the map, they will just keep spawning in, and they will keep getting behind you, and they will keep blowing up, and then you're just dead. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I will skip this for now, and I will just go into multiplayer and play with other people to help them out. That way I can start getting more items and stuff to grind out and, improve my character. So I do that for a bit. And the first game that I jump into, it's a guy or a woman, I don't know who, but they're playing as a guy who is on a boss. I'm like, great. I'm like I'm gear level 2. This guy was gear level 2, and somehow he's already on the main boss for the first area.
Oh, wow.
Let's figure out how this goes. So the boss that he fights for his version of the world is the Ent, which is a giant tree humanoid thing. That also pops off these blowing up flood-looking things that chase you all over the map. We took it out in like 2 or 3 tries with no issues. So, all right, cool. I get a boss item. I go back. I craft an item. It gives me this one-shot shotgun thing that I can also turn into a grenade launcher. Cool. I'm getting somewhere. Go back to try to take on the mid-boss that I'm stuck on, because I'm like, I took out a boss. I should be able to do a mid-boss. Nope.
No thanks.
So I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. I go back and I just start helping other people grind out their worlds, which started getting infuriating because every time I would jump into somebody else's world, they were either on a different mid-boss or they were on a different boss, and we could never beat them, no matter what we did.
Jeez.
So the game was just constantly kicking me back down, and eventually I ended up screwing up my checkpoint, so I couldn't checkpoint back to my boss in my world, so I had to go back through the sewers, which is kind of creepy because there is one boss, or not, I'm sorry, not one boss. There's like a mid-tier enemy that'll randomly pop up and attack you as you continue on through the sewers. No matter how much you clear out the area, they will always pop up behind you. And And what I found out was what you have to listen for is it basically sounds like a tuning fork going off, but it's very faint. So if you're in the middle of fighting something, you can barely hear it. But when you hear that tuning fork go off, you need to look behind you because there is a giant thing coming up behind you with 2 swords, and it will one-hit you.
Right.
And it will scare the hell out of you because it does it to me every time. Which is funny because you'll know people who have played this game before and know what they're looking for because you'll hear that and all of a sudden you will see all 3 of you turn around behind you to see where it's coming from. Right. And if it's not directly behind you, you'll have one person that'll flip around to look behind you again, where we were looking. So that way we've got all exits covered and we're just waiting for it to show up.
Right.
It is the scariest, dumbest thing ever because the worst part is you can't, when it's facing you, you can't shoot it because it deflects all your bullets. So someone usually has to run behind it, or you have to get it to start attacking you, and then you can attack it, and so on and so forth. But it's not that difficult to fight. It's just scary that it just shows up behind you, and then it just goes all up on your stuff. Anyway. My group, as I'm re-clearing the sewers to get back to the checkpoint to fight the boss, 2 other people joined my campaign. I'm like, cool, let's try this boss. Let's see if we can get through here. 4 tries. We try with this boss, and we still can't beat it. The 5th attempt, I die like almost right off the bat. I get surrounded by all of these things blowing up. The 2 other guys try to revive me, but every time, and it was the dumbest thing too, every time they would try to revive me, one of those blow-up things would just spawn next to me. So as soon as they initiated the revive, they would have to break away because either one of those things was about to blow up on them or the boss showed up next to me, running around looking for the other 2 guys. So they could never revive me because anytime they take a hit, the revive gets interrupted and they have to restart from scratch. And the revive doesn't take effect until your health bar is completely filled up. Luckily, you don't lose any items or anything unless the revive actually happens. So they weren't losing anything. But it just came to a point that it was such a hassle trying to get to me that I was just like, screw it, just try to do it
just take out the boss, don't worry about me.
Not going to happen. So they go running round robin on this map. They're shooting the boss. They're trying to take out all these poppers and stuff, and they finally get him down to where he's got like this little sliver of a health bar. And one guy shoots him one more time with a shotgun, then he gets killed. And then the boss goes charging after the final guy that's in there. And the final guy takes 2 shots with him with his pistol, and then we all revive.
Oh, nice.
And, well, hang on. Because I was dead, the other guy was dead, so there's only 2 reasons you would revive. Either the boss got beat, or he died.
Oh.
He died.
No!
But, per Dark Souls, he lived long enough past the boss dying that it checked off us killing that boss, so we got the cutscene.
Oh god!
So we were a hair's width of not beating this
race
boss
condition.
Because we were all freaking out. We get the cutscene, and then we both revive, or all 3 of us revive at the checkpoint. I was like, oh, thank God! So we go in there, grab all of the loot and stuff, and continue on. But
nice.
My God, man, that's just the mid boss.
Right,
like, 3 of us. Yeah. I don't remember the game being this much of a pain. Like, I don't remember having problems with this game until we got past. It was either in the swamps or past the swamps, where there was a specific boss in there that, like, no matter who I was with, we just could not beat. They were basically like fairies or something like that, and you're on a bridge. So it's either you're constantly getting knocked off a bridge or you're just constantly getting blown up. It was just, that was the first time I ever remember having any real issues with this game. But I don't know if between patches and all that, if they just went up and they're like, oh, this is all too easy now, let's make it harder.
Yeah, they've had it too easy up until this point.
Yeah. So that's been my life with Remnant. But if anyone on a PlayStation wants to join, just hit me up.
Yes, free this month.
Yeah, I think I'm gear level 5 now on that.
Oh, wow.
So, and the talents, or I forget if they're traits or talents. I remember the things that you unlock eventually after doing and meeting certain things. So, like, you start out with vigor, Vigor, mod, or spiritual, and endurance. So you put your points in vigor, it increases your health, endurance for stamina, and spiritual for your mods, increases how long they interact for. As you continue playing the game, you get more, and they're basically cards. Like you go onto this page, and they show up as cards that you can just keep putting your trait points into. And then it increases values of like your reload time. Eventually you'll get that where it's like you can start reloading faster. And I logged into my Steam account and remembered that I've got like 20 of those things unlocked.
Jeez.
And on my PlayStation version of the game, I've got like 5 of them unlocked right now.
Wow.
So I got a while with this game, but
yeah,
it's a lot of fun. I'm still enjoying it, even though it's still kicking my butt.
Yeah.
So, the last 2 games that I have, I'm pretty sure Boston has played both.
Oh, okay.
So I will kind of transition from here. So I will start with, because I don't know if you actually had a chance to play them this week.
Okay.
But I will start with Persona 5 Strikers.
I did play that this week.
Okay,
yes.
And then after I'm done with this, we'll transition to you, because you're going to talk about the other ones.
Okay. Yes, I finished the first dungeon in Persona 5 Strikers, and talk about challenging mid-bosses. One of the mid-bosses, it's not that it was difficult, because nobody really died. It just took so long to beat it that I set the difficulty down to easy. And I'm having way more fun now, because it's just... Normal is not difficult, but unless you're, like, constantly baton passing and taking advantage of the boss's weaknesses, it just takes so long. And it's easy enough to do in like the turn-based Persona games, because you can just continue to baton pass and one more attack and all that stuff. But in this, there's just... It's not that it's too much. I wasn't having fun doing all this juggling while I'm, doing square and triangle combos.
Now, was that the Key Keeper?
No, it was, no, it wasn't even anybody crazy. It was, like, there was this string of sort of mini-bosses leading up to the final boss. It was, like, the last mini-boss right before the final boss. I'm like, God, I just can't. This dungeon is taking forever. Like, I just have to keep motoring through this. So
Yeah, I also beat the first dungeon, and that's where I left it, because you don't have any revives in this game yet.
Right.
And I'm assuming that's going to be a thing that we can get, because right now everything's kind of blocked off.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not great. So.
Yeah, and I get what they're going for in the first dungeon, because there's checkpoints everywhere, and unlike Persona 5, you can hit a checkpoint, leave the dungeon, the jail as they call them, refill all your HP and SP, and hop right back in the jail. So, like, there's no, like, you came out, so you have to go to sleep and try again another day. It's just get out, refill, get back in, finish the dungeon.
But I actually wish they would have done one better and just made it so that as soon as you activate that checkpoint and you get the menu for the checkpoint, you automatically reheal, because what you have to do is, like he was saying, you have to leave the dungeon, which doesn't sound like a big thing, but the problem is, if you're getting your butt kicked every time and you constantly have to leave to get your stuff refilled so you're not wasting all your items, you leave the dungeon, your character starts out at the bottom of the cafe, so you have to walk back to the steps to go back up, and then select go back into the dungeon, then reselect what checkpoint you were at so that you can get back to the spot that you were at. It's like, just let me heal.
Where all the enemies have respawned. Yeah. It's all this stuff, like, it's fine, but, like, I wanted that first dungeon to be easily half the length it was, because it took me so long to get through. And then you finish the dungeon, and then there's genuinely like 30 minutes worth of story stuff after that before you can even save the game again. It's like, you have really replicated the Persona experience here.
Yeah, it still feels like a Persona game, for better or worse.
And I'm having fun, and the story is great. Like the public security guy that you're running into is like the first adult in any Persona game that is not like a gibbering moron. And it's really refreshing that, like, there's an adult who's like, hey, I'm trying to help you. Like, I know what's going on. I'm trying to help you, and I have the power to help you. And I love that everybody in the game is like, now we hate cops. And he's like, I understand, but like the police are coming for you. I'm trying to help you. And they're like, yeah, but you're a cop and we hate cops. It's just like, he's just like, please.
I do like the first encounter that you have with him where they're all like, but we didn't do it. And he's like, oh, so you're telling me you didn't do it. Okay. And he calls his boss
Right.
and straight
I'm
up
here with
says,
the Phantom Thieves. They didn't do it. Isn't that crazy?
And then the boss is yelling at him to not waste his time. He's like, okay. And he hangs up the phone. And everyone's like, what'd you do that for? And it's like, to show you that that's great that I know
Right.
and you know that you didn't do it. Nobody else cares.
Yeah. Yeah. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's interesting balancing because it still has the Fuse the Persona Compendium Velvet Room stuff, which is still surprising, and kind of trying to balance that between hitting square and triangle to do combos and the Musou stuff is kind of, my brain isn't doing like the left side, right side thing correctly, where it's like, no, you still have to fuse these personas because you need them to strengthen you and bring their skills in, but I'll get it here one of these times.
And it doesn't help that there is kind of a lot flashing and happening on the screen.
Yes.
Like, I think if it was just a regular Persona game where it wasn't if it was turn-based, I think it would be more manageable. But since it is a Musou and everything's happening at that moment, it's kind of hard to grasp. Oh, hey, his showtime is ready. Oh, hey, their health is going down. Oh, hey, this enemy's doing this now.
Right.
It's like,
baton pass to Sophie and do this thing, and baton pass to the other person. It's just like, oh, God, okay.
Oh, and this one's readying up an attack, so I have to hurry up and get to them. And
right.
Oh, man, it's a lot.
And interacting with stuff in the environment to do extra or special damage to the boss. It's just like, oh, God, okay.
Yeah.
My brain.
But it's still really cool.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to turn it down to easy too, because normal is just straight kicking my teeth into.
Yeah, it's just like a grind, and I'm not dying on some of these bosses. It's just taking so long, and it's like that. Okay, then I'll just put it down to easy. And I fought the final boss of the first dungeon on easy, and it was a much more fun experience. And it's like, all right, I think that's just what I'm looking for. Like, I'm looking for Persona 5 2, and to just kind of do some combos and have some fun.
Yeah. That last boss, I was down to 2 characters, and I pretty much went through all of my items.
Yeah.
Which, if anyone has ever heard me talk about JRPGs, I don't use items. I'm that guy who's like, oh, I need to save these for a rainy day. And I was at that point, it's like, no, this is that rainy day.
Yeah.
I need to use all of this.
Yeah, if I'm looking for difficulty, I'm like not looking for that in a Persona game. I'm looking for that in an SMT game. Like, I want that game to kick my teeth in every random battle. I'm not really looking for that in this. Yeah.
Other than that, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, it's good so far. Like, and it's super high production quality. Like, Omega Force just made a Persona game. Like, it's incredible. Like, it is still this. I still have this weird thing where it's like, yeah, I'm playing an Atlas game. It's like, no, I'm not. Like, they made a different. This team made a Persona game without Atlas. Like, it's incredible. Yeah,
that's all I got for that.
Yeah. So I'm assuming your last game is Loop Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. I played as much Loop Hero this week as I possibly could, which unfortunately was only like a couple of hours. But
that was why it surprised me when you had posted, "Hey, I just beat the second boss," and I was like, "Really?"
And you're like, "The second boss? What the?"
Yeah, because I legitimately assumed you were like 5 or 6 chapters into this game already.
Yeah. No, that second boss is oddly the Rogue was the one that took that boss down, which Rogue is weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real trick for me has been in the camp unlocking the forest, which unlocks the forest and thicket cards. When you lay those down on your map in the loop portion of the game, those increase your character's attack speed.
Oh,
and
okay.
That has been real huge, especially with the rogue who has 2 weapons.
Yeah, I'm actually working towards getting the library, the forest, and the river cards right now, but I have to get the expansion orbs which
Right.
require you to fight 4 or more enemies at once.
Right.
So
Or
I've got,
I'm getting more of those on chapter 3.
okay.
Yeah.
I haven't even tried the second check because I get maybe 3 loops in, and all of a sudden it's just too hard. Like I'm not getting good enough gear to continue on. Whereas like the first chapter, I've gone all the way up to beating the Lich and then just continuing on, like to the point where I'm like 2 hours into the first map of just letting my
like
character
50
loop
something
around.
loops. Yeah. I think that's one part of this game that I think is really interesting is when you unlock another chapter, there's this really cool risk reward that you're setting, because in every chapter the loop gets longer, so it takes you more days to get back to camp. So how many things do you place on the loop so that you can get better chances at gear versus how much do you want to run in on the loop before you can get back to camp and heal yourself up? Like, it's this really cool risk reward that you're setting yourself, because the game is more than happy to like have you fight slimes forever if you really want, but you're not going to get any gear. And it's usually I'm the dummy where it's like, all right, I got a village card and 2 wheat fields, plopping those down and putting a vampire mansion right next to that village, making it super hard for me for 3 turns until it turns into the good thing it turns into later. The level of interaction between things in this game is pretty crazy.
My biggest issue too is that usually I can judge pretty well if my character can make it through another loop or not.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been times where it's like I've made it through a loop, my character is fine, I barely took any damage, didn't use any potions, and then I go on to my next loop and I don't even make it like a quarter of the way through, and I'm already getting my butt handed to me.
You run that first goblin camp, and it's just like, I knew I should have used that Oblivion card to get rid of that thing because it is a curse. Have you unlocked any watchtowers?
I have 1 watchtower so far.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
I have 4 of them now, and I have found this really good combo of putting cemeteries right next to your camp, so that for like the first 2 tiles after your camp are cemeteries, and you get 4 archers helping you on both of those tiles because the skeletons are pretty hard, and that has worked really nicely.
Nice. I've mostly just been messing around with trying to figure out what card gives me what material.
Yes.
Because I did not have the encyclopedia for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, that's kind of iffy with that. But like, there's no, until you get that encyclopedia, there's no way for you to tell that, okay, you keep walking through the groove and that's giving you sticks.
Yeah.
It's
and
like you
X
have
number of sticks turn into a log. And
it's like you have to do it.
Yep.
And then you can start figuring out where it's coming from. Like with the memories, fragment memories.
Yep.
I did not know what that was until my pool of cards completely filled up and knocked 2 off, and all of a sudden I had like these 2 fragment.
You had like
fragment
pages.
Memories or fragment. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh, here's something new that I didn't know that was in this game.
There's a new material.
What do these do now?
Yeah, it has a really great. Like, a lot of games really try this, and they're not always super successful about this, like, learn by doing sort of system, where it's like, oh, I defeated these enemies, and I got these fragments of these things. Oh, and I got 15 of those that turn into this material I'm actually looking for to build or upgrade something in the camp. It's like, oh, okay, now every time I pass through the camp or the bonfire on the loop, now I get 3 potions, and the potions are even better. It's like, oh, okay, now I'm a little bit stronger there, so I can strengthen my. There's like this cool back and forth that reminds me a lot of Moonlighter, where it's like you do really well in one portion of the game that strengthens the other portion to do better on the other portion. Like both halves of the game are feeding each other pretty well.
Yeah. One question I have for you though: item crafting.
Yeah.
What is the point?
It seems useless at this point. Because the number of slots I have to put stuff into in the supply menu is so low. I think I have 10 total. That the idea of crafting more items doesn't seem great because the stuff I've already put in there is like the best, and also it doesn't like you get plus 5 HP every loop, and it's like okay, cool. I'm like on loop 10 at like 2500 HP. Like I don't know what I need 5 more for. I've been dismantling a lot of items more than I have been crafting items.
Yeah, I haven't crafted anything yet, but I've made more mud huts so that way I can put those items into storage.
Right.
And anything that I have that's extra, I've just been dismantling for the items.
Yep.
And I haven't messed with the crafting at all because I was like, okay, is this actually crafting the item so that I get it for the loop, or is this just giving me an extra of that item that I just store?
Yeah, it gives you that item to put in your storage. And it's sort of like
that seems stupid.
Yeah, it's like the one system in this game where it's like everything else is really well thought out. Like this game is really, really well designed. Except for the crafting system. I'm not sure I get you yet.
Yeah. There's probably something in chapter 6 that's like, oh, that's what it's for.
Yeah, I'm sort of hoping that like I upgrade some building at some point where it's like, oh, now you can merge these pieces of cheese together and now it's like a multiplicative effect. And I was like, oh, okay, now it's useful. But so far it's not great.
I haven't even gotten to the point of upgrading buildings yet. I'm just trying to build.
Yes, some of those are really strong, like the watchtower. The archers will now attack 2 squares away from the bonfire. It's like, okay, now that's even stronger. Yeah, it's a lot of those are pretty significantly strong.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun game to just have running and then watching or listening to something else.
Yeah, it's really good that it's like very passive and very active at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, mountain ranges. Can you have more than one mountain range?
No, just one 3x3, like
so.
the big mountain range. Yeah.
Because every time I seem to build one, I was like, all right, I should be able to build another one over on this side. And no, it's just rocks and mountains. I was like, well, what the heck?
Yeah. So, I keep putting more rocks and mountains next to it to get me even more HP.
The boost.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Whatever.
Okay, we already talked about Persona 5 Strikers. Destiny 2. I've got my first raid seal / title, Descendant. We finished the last challenge in Deepstone Crypt, the most recent raid. Deepstone Crypt, by the way, really... You've discovered
I'm on call this week, so I had to keep my phone on.
Really, really great raid. We've been running it every week since it came out, and both myself and the TVGP alumnus, the Hannah, got our title this week because we finished the Red Rover challenge, which was way spicier than I was expecting it to be. Mostly because we were going too fast. We have all these fights down that we're just like talking about other stuff and joking at this point. So we were going faster than the challenge really needed us to. So slow down a little bit and kind of knock that out pretty quickly. Bravely Default 2. I finished. I got the super late title card, which was really great. And the super overpowered person that was in my party has now left. It's like to the point where I'm doing like 70 to 100 damage and they're critting for like 1500. So I was like, well, yeah, we're definitely gonna farm with this dude around for quite a while. That's still really great. I'm like on the outskirts of the flooded oasis town that I talked about a little bit ago. Mostly because I know the RPG thing is going to happen where I get into the town and there's a whole bunch of story that goes on before I can even save. And I haven't had the time to like sit down for half an hour to get through all that stuff before I can just explore the town and do the side quests. So, it's still really good. I'm 100% clicking with that game, so far. All right, we talked about Loop Hero. Okay. No Man's Sky.
Oh, no.
So I was looking at Moon. It's funny that you mentioned like 11 gigs because I was looking at all this stuff installed on my PS5 and I was like, oh, No Man's Sky has to be like 40, 50 gigs. Like I can probably get rid of that. And it was like 11.8 gigs. And I was like, huh, you wizards. What are you doing over there? Okay.
Uh-huh.
And then I thought, well, Moon just went to the center of the galaxy. Maybe I should try. And so I fired it
back of my head too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still want to try the VR too.
Oh yeah, that's true. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just try a couple of runs, see if I can get like that Goldilocks starting planet that doesn't kill me immediately. Let's see how I can do.
We're talking about permadeath mode here.
Yes, I'm talking about permadeath, like the proper center of the galaxy TVGP challenge. I got a really good first planet. It was a cold planet with a pretty solid number of materials kind of everywhere. It wasn't, the storms were bad, but not terrible. And I could kind of, like the very first thing you do is you kind of repair your stuff. You get the next waypoint, which is like those buildings to go get the hermetic seal. It was 900 meters away, which isn't bad. I had enough stuff to keep recharging my my not life support, but the like environmental shield. Yeah. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try it. Cool. So I get there. No, you get to your ship first. Ship was pretty close. I get to the building. I get there like as a storm starts. So I get there and I kind of hang out there until the storm is done. Life support's doing pretty okay. And my shields are doing pretty okay because they regen in there. And I'm hurtling back towards my ship. And I know if I can get back to my ship, I can probably get off the planet really easily. And I'm like, this is going super well.
And then
I fall off a cliff.
Ah.
And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm falling off a cliff. That's no big deal. Like, I will just get close to the ground and I will jetpack. And I like know the velocity of the jetpack and it will be fine. And I jetpack and I squish on the ground. And I get the black screen with a science fiction book quote. And I was like, okay. Great. Okay. Let's start that back over. And I do like 4 or 5 more runs and none of them were that, like, they weren't that solid. I had one okay one where the planet was irradiated. That wasn't that bad. But I think, oh God, that was the one where I was literally 5 steps away from getting back in my ship and the last of my health ticked away. And I just fell over dead. And I was like, okay. Yep. Great.
Speaking of quotes at a death screen, that reminds me, Remnant does the same thing.
Oh no!
And I have never been so pissed at Gandhi for as many times as it shows me Gandhi quotes every time you die in Remnant.
Yeah, it's really infuriating. So, for my final game, I thought, keeping with the theme, I'll play a space game that is notorious for being super easy to play and super for newcomers, and I played Elite Dangerous.
Yep.
A very nice gentleman walked me through the tutorial.
Was it NIMP?
No, it was the in-game. It was the in-game gentleman.
Okay. I was going to say, if you are literally going to third-party helper sites where you literally have 2 pros in the room,
right? Unless it's the fuel rats, like that would be an acceptable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would just tell you to watch 3 hours of tutorial videos from YouTube, and then I'll meet you in space, and then we'll go from there. No,
I'm really impressed with the tutorial. So number one, I couldn't log into the game for 2 days. I hate when games do this.
What is this, Outriders?
I hate when games do this. Number one, let me at least access the options or network diagnostics or something. Don't just have me log in at the beginning, and if I don't want to log in, you just kick me back to the main menu. That sucks. The first day I tried to play it, I created my Frontier Store account over on my laptop and got all that stuff set up, and then in the 5 minutes it had taken me to get back to my Xbox to log in, the login servers went down. So tried again the next day, and the password that I had used on the Frontier Store on my laptop works, It is not valid for in the game because it contained special characters. Thank you. So
Yes.
change my password again, and was able to get in.
Being the bane of passwords.
Right. So the tutorial is actually really good. It is.
Be grateful for that.
Yeah, like if I didn't have the tutorial, I wouldn't have made it more than a couple minutes in.
I know ours was different from yours, and mine was different from Moon's, because mine was basically, here's a Sidewinder, and my tutorial was, if you crash and burn, it doesn't cost you anything. You will just start in another Sidewinder.
Yeah.
My tutorial was, here's a YouTube link.
Yeah. This one is now fully voice acted. And there's a guy on the radio that's like, all right, cool. Put you in a Sidewinder. We'll get to the customization later. Don't worry about that. But here is all the stuff that's on your this giant interface in front of you. We're going to highlight individual sections, and we're going to show you what each one of those things does as we walk you through how to do them. Like, first up, let's throttle up. And it's just sort of like, oh, we're going to throttle up a little bit, and you're going to fly forward. Let's go into reverse and stuff like that. And eventually, as you go through like a series of like 20-something rings around the space station to kind of walk you through, here's how to fly a thing. Don't run into the walls. Slow, like speeding up, slowing down, that sort of stuff.
Let's turn off flight assist.
Right, and like boost through the last one and stuff like that. And then the combat one is the next one where you shoot at stationary targets, then you shoot at a ship that's moving, but it has shields, and then the last one is a ship that's moving and is shooting at you. So all that stuff was easy and straightforward. It's like, take down the shields with this gun, do damage with this gun. And then he said, all right, let's jump over to this space station over here. Let's go dock, and we'll give you the next part, which was get out, and then we've shown you all the stuff. Go to this other system that we just gave you the name of, but we're not going to like walk you through it. Go dock there and go like turn in this mission and the bounty board, and then you're done with the tutorial. So like all together, it was maybe like 30 minutes all told, if you've ever played a space flying game before. And it kind of, I like at the end, it's like, all right, here is all the stuff you can do in the game. Here are all the types of missions you can pick. I don't care what you do. It's your game to play now. Good luck. And that's where I finished up.
So you're playing this on PC, I'm guessing, now that we have a monster.
No, I'm playing on Series X because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it's also it might be. Is it on a PC version? I don't know.
Probably.
Very interesting.
Dude, I've got an Epic version, a Steam version, an Xbox version, a Windows version.
Yeah. So first impressions with this tutorial are really solid. It looks really great. The hold music when you're waiting to auto dock, really good.
Yes.
Really digging that. The inside of the space stations look incredible. It is. They very much look like a place that people live and work, as opposed to like a rest stop on a highway. I love the fact that you can see all like the cars doing like the loops around and stuff like that while you're coming into dock. And it's like, oh look, there's a trucking thing that's bringing parts. Wait, the truck is tiny. How big is my ship? Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I like that the you have to wait in a queue while you're waiting to auto land. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff in there that I will be dipping back in to kind of take on my first proper mission and see how I feel about it. But first impressions are really solid, especially with the tutorial in place and with it being free, which is nice. But yeah.
Wait until you get good enough where you take off the auto lander and you just blow through that mail slot, drop your landing gear so you get the drag and just land right on top of your pad, and then you're just freaking in and out.
Yeah.
God, that game's great. Especially when you do it in Anaconda. Oh, man.
Yeah, when you have questionable materials aboard. And you're like, don't scam me, don't scam me, don't scam me, don't scam me, and you're just boosting as quick as you can to get in there.
Yeah.
You go in silent mode and you're heating up and you forgot to put heat sinks on your ship, so you're just trying to get through. Yeah.
Yep.
The best part is too, and I will tell you this because it's the first thing that everyone screws up, is when you get a bigger ship, it handles differently.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
So the way your the way your Sidewinder handles now, get used to it because it's your first ship. But the moment you buy a different ship, doesn't matter if it's the same size or whatever, it's gonna handle differently from what you were last driving. So go slow and don't go crazy, and never buy a ship without insurance.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you will crash and burn the first time you lift off that pad.
For sure.
Every time.
Yeah. So good first impression for Elite Dangerous. That it seems like a very welcoming experience now, as opposed to like, yeah, man, I don't know, it's a ship, space, you figure it out.
So you made your first jump into a new system, correct?
Yes, I did.
Did you get the wonderful, horrifying kabang and there's a star right in front of your experience as well?
That is part of the tutorial.
Yep.
Where it's like, all right, go to this other system. It does not. It's just like, I'll go to this other system. We're going to visit this space station. And it's just bam, and there's just a giant sun filling your screen. It's like, oh, God. Okay.
How cool was it an orange sun? Just a regular old sun?
Yeah.
How cool does that thing look?
It's very cool. It's a very good looking game. Like I don't think I was, as much as I'd seen of Elite Dangerous, I don't think I was prepared to play it and be like, yeah, this is like a really good looking game.
Even just the sounds, like your ship creaking as it comes in and out and stuff like that.
And the whole cockpit looks cool that you can look around it. Like, I like hitting, what was it, X and left on the D-pad to kind of look at your little computer over here to do all your stuff.
Yes,
like
the shortcuts where you just the head snap.
Yeah, like that's just, it's kind of a cool cockpit. It's a cool system. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I played this week, so let's take a break.
Yep.
God, it's already full.
Everybody, bathroom.
All right. I'm going to blow through the rest of this episode pretty quickly because we've already been recording for 2 hours. LOL.
Yeah, whatever.
Make sure there's not some last minute news stories unless there's like something super big.
I got an email from PlayStation saying that in April of 2021, they are shutting down the communities.
I saw that and I was like, the community what? Yeah,
exactly. The thing that I don't go to that I'm in like 8 of them or something like that.
Yeah, like I think I made a TVGP one and like 2 or 3 of us are like, hey, what's this thing? And then for like 6 years, no one posted anything. Because why would you?
Well, someone had posted in the East one that I'm in randomly. Like last week, I think it was, because they had just beaten 8 for the first time.
Oh, right.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. These are a thing. Because I couldn't figure out what the notification was that it was giving me. It just kept saying,
what are you telling me?
Yeah.
Someone needs my help. Oh, man.
So has your daughter seen you play Elite Dangerous yet?
Yeah, I was like showing her the space station while I was waiting in the queue because it's like slowly spinning around while you're sort of sitting there.
Yeah.
And I showed it to her and I was like, "Hey, doesn't this look cool?" And she's like, "Uh-huh." I was like, "Oh, okay. You just want to play Astro's Playroom again?" She's like, "Uh-huh. I like the robot." It's like, "Okay. Fair."
My daughter was way more into it when I got the permit for Sol, so I could come to our solar system.
Oh,
and
sure.
I could show her, hey, here's Earth. This is where we live. You can see Michigan.
Right.
Here's the moon, you know?
Right. Yeah, she's way into the, like, she's 4 and change right now, so she's way into, like, we live on planet Earth. We live in the United States. We live in California. Like, she's really into, like, where we live and where the rest of my extended family lives.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Just wait. You're going to get a HOTAS. It's going to be awesome.
Don't tempt him with that stuff.
I'm still trying to tempt you.
I love like fiddly buttons and knobs, so like a HOTAS is way up my alley.
Oh, you want a warthog?
Yeah.
Double throttle, all the knobs and twisties you could have.
Then we can get him into Real Flight Simulator, where he literally has to do the ignition sequence for real planes.
Yeah. Click, 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 click. Yeah. It's the good stuff.
Speaking of which, did you guys see someone's homemade VR like flight setup that I saw the GIF of recently?
Was that the one where they put the lens up to the camera and you could see? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll have to go find that.
Basically, Boston, it's like a ramshackle like throttle like attached to a table. And it's like, okay, you've got a couple of buttons here and there. You've got these weird circular things in the front. Okay.
Right.
And then they put like the VR camera up to the lens of the recording camera, and it's literally inside of a plane cockpit, and it's all VR'd out. But he's got the buttons, the physical buttons.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, it
cool.
looks like this funny, trashiest thing ever, and then he puts that VR set on.
He puts the goggles on.
Yeah, and then you can see how he's got it set up for the tactile function and all that.
That's clever. Good stuff.
Okay,
you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Yep.
Let me take a drink here.
Before we talk about how I retrofit my basement to be an Anaconda cockpit.
Right.
Yeah.
With all 4 seats. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever want to laugh, just Google Elite Dangerous Rigs.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Laugh. That gives me ideas, man.
Yeah. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of March 15th, 2021. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning comes out on the Switch. I still haven't seen any footage on this, which seems concerning that it's a Switch game, but who knows? That game's really good, so if you could sit on it on the couch and play that while you're like watching TV, that could be a pretty good experience. But
yeah, and I'm pretty sure the idiot baseball player doesn't get any money at this point as well.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I think it like a holding company bought it, that sold it to someone else, that sold it to THQ Nordic. So like I think
the Embracer Group. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'll use their given name, the Embracer Group. RBI Baseball 21 comes out PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X. I don't know anything about that. Sorry. It's just fun.
The former Sony exclusive baseball?
No, that's the show.
MLB the show.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
I'm looking forward to seeing how bad that performs on Xbox.
Yeah, that's coming out in a little bit, I think. Next month, I think. Yeah, it's pretty soon. Samurai Showdown comes out on Series X. I believe the patch is out now. It's like a 29 gig patch or something. So that game was supposed to be good. The Samurai Showdown games are good, and I've heard this one is pretty solid. Inexplicably, Subs Zombie and Rebel Without a Pulse comes out on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. That soundtrack is really great. That Cake song is real good. I don't know who was asking for this, but the remaster is out this week.
It doesn't look like a remaster. It just looks like a re-release from what I'm seeing of visuals.
Yeah. Marvel's Avengers comes out PS5 and Series X. I believe that is also a free upgrade if you have the PS4 and Xbox One versions. So I will probably check that out pretty soon because it still seems like it's up my alley and is cheap, which is great. And last here, Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville Complete Edition comes out on the Switch. I think that's both of the games. They just put them on the Switch, which those are both solid games. But I cannot imagine how small that community is going to be over on Switch because it doesn't seem super big on the other platforms at the moment. Anyway.
My kids can actively find multiplayer games on the PlayStation 4 version.
Oh, good. Okay. So
for
maybe
the second game. I don't know about the first one. They haven't played that one in a while. But the second one, they can still find a bunch of matches.
Yeah, I don't know if the first one is multiplayer anymore, unless, other than local stuff. Because I think as soon as 2 came out, they were like, yeah, don't worry about the first one anymore. It's like, okay. Let's move on to emails here, because we don't really have any big news stories, and we've been recording forever today. Mackie sends us an email titled "Returning to Games You Abandoned." It says, "Salutations, TVGP peers. Recently got a 4K TV," says parenthetically, "finally. In testing out games to see how HDR and upscaling to my 4K looks, I landed on Crackdown. Every few years I go back, since I was missing only 5 or 6 out of the 500 agility orbs when I stopped playing originally. With no map and no in-game progress tracker, getting them all was a task I never figured I'd complete. I figure you know where this is going. Yep, I happened to spawn in the Volk area and figured maybe if I got high enough, HDR and 4K will let me see any, and what the hell it did. I happened to see one atop a smokestack that I'm still not sure how on earth I missed in my previous 60-plus hours in the game. I pop it, figuring I'll at least have a count to go by, and then I hear that familiar 360 achievement plunk. Achievement unlocked. Free runner. Holy crap. Check my achievements and saw I unlocked my first Crackdown achievement on February 20th, 2007. For some perspective, George W. Bush was still president and Obama hadn't even announced he was running yet. I was still over 2 years away from dating my now wife. Rock Band wouldn't come out for another 9 months. A kid in kindergarten would be in college now. Woof. Pretty sure TVGP didn't exist yet. Your feed cuts off in 2008, and I'm lazy. We started in November of 2007, so we were still a couple of months away from that. So yeah, it took me over 14 years to find all the agility orbs in Crackdown. Guess I should find all the hidden ones now too, right? Okay, no.
Yes.
But anyway,
Yeah.
my vote is for yes, yeah. But anyway, my question is, what games have you abandoned for the longest time and came back to in order to earn achievement, trophy, high score, personal goal in? Thanks for the podcast and Patreon shows. Thanks to Moon for helping me get old sniper achievements in Hitman. Keep up the great work, Mackie.
Okay, first and foremost, February 20th, 2007. That was Crackdown 1's release day. So that's
wow.
day one achievement.
Right. Wow. Man, Crackdown is good.
Yeah, good. Really good.
Should play Crackdown in 4K.
Dude, Crackdown 3 has got to be Series X enhanced by now.
I would have to. I should go look, because I never finished that, and I was having an all-right amount of fun with that.
It was pretty fun.
That could be my game I return to, where it's like, oh, Crackdown 3. 10 years on.
Mine might actually be Bloodborne.
Oh, yeah.
I still, every once in a while, get that thing in the back of my mind of, it's just 3 more trophies, and then you got the platinum.
Just a couple more.
But I don't want to earn those 3 more trophies.
Jimbo Jangles in chat says skills for kills. That's right, Agent.
Yeah.
I still have one more trophy / achievement to get in Destiny 2. Unbelievably.
I can't remember if I platinumed 2 or not. I know I did the first one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a task.
First one? I platinumed the first one, yeah.
I did not, because I didn't have a team to do the Nightfall version of the raid, whatever it was called.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just need to do... I didn't do the heroic version of the Leviathan raid back in the day, so I just need to do a Grandmaster Nightfall, which unlocks this week, so fingers crossed. God, what have I gone back to? I remember.
In all honesty, like the genuine answer for this for the longest gap for me is probably NBA Live 06 or whatever it was.
The multiplayer ones?
The Ultimate Team ones.
Oh, right.
It's like, yeah, have fun with that. And it took like...
Oh, go ahead.
It took like 9 years to get those achievements. It was so stupid.
You were in it for the long haul, really.
Yeah, I still get messages on TA to this day about helping people.
You want to help me with this? I just need like one more achievement. I actually think my longest return and platinum was for No Man's Sky. As I played that on release and I got a ton of progress, but I never got the like scanning trophies up until late last year when I'm like, let's check out No Man's Sky again. They came out with the big old update, and I knocked those out and got the platinum.
That might be mine too, because I don't ever search for the trophies, but with how my son and I play it off and on, eventually I'm going to get them. So
yeah. Now I just need to get to the center of the universe.
I know, since you've made it a freaking challenge for the show now.
That's right, all of us. And then I need to get to the center of the universe in Elite. Challenge 2.0. Fuel rats, help me.
You know, for like a brief moment, that almost broke my soul until I was like, no, I already did that one. I'm fine.
you just had these flashbacks. You blacked out for a minute. It's like, never. I don't have to do it again. I'm free.
I mean,
yeah, Elite Dangerous, just because I keep going off and on with that game. I stop so that I don't burn myself out, and then I get like really into it again.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think we can count that though, because that's an evergreen game for us. It's like Symphony of the Night for Boston. It's like even if it's every couple of years, we'll still kick it up, play it for a couple of hours, and then be like, oh no, there's 6 months down the drain.
Right, like it's still good. Gotta go.
Well, I think that's the best part too, is that there's no real progress. Like, I'm sitting in the middle of the black right now. I know what I'm doing.
Right. You just don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I do want to. It's just the time investment in it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't have to keep track of anything else, though. Like, at any point in time, I could be like, I don't feel like doing that this week. I'm going to go do something else in this game.
Yeah.
But,
Fallout
go back to
Shelter,
the bubble and help them.
Yeah. Well, I can help them out at any point. Yeah, you need help, Boston, hit me up.
Will do.
Because you're on Xbox, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We can wing up and make our way.
God, I can't imagine. I should see how good, if that's on Game Pass for PC, and see how good that looks on my brand new video.
That's why I asked, dude. Mm-hmm. It's because I assumed you were playing the PC version with the beef.
All right, so there's a bug in GeForce Experience right now where if you have multiple monitors, which LOL, of course, like everybody does, if you connect using their version of Remote Play, which I do through my Steam Link with Moonlight, it will default to your non-primary monitor. So if I say like, oh yeah, fire up Elite Dangerous, it will show the monitor that isn't playing the game. And I can like flip the monitors and it will just do the same thing on the other monitor. So I've been playing less stuff on my PC through Moonlighter, because the only solution is to turn off one of the monitors in Windows to just focus on one monitor, and then that works, which is kind of a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fallout Shelter, I had a 3-year gap.
Is that a metric on True Achievements that you can filter by, like longest?
I'm checking
I was wondering if that was your staring into the middle distance. Was like, I wonder if TA has so many metrics on it now. I wonder if that's one of them.
Mass Effect 2 years.
Oh,
because I bounced off that first Mass Effect until I started seeing the trailers for Mass Effect 2, and then in the space of like 3 weeks, I blew through Mass Effect 1, started and finished Mass Effect 2.
I still can't pull myself to do a second playthrough on those games.
Well, the Legendary Edition is coming out soon.
I have absolutely no interest in that.
Yeah, I'm interested if the changes they made to the first one keep the same spirit, but they're material enough to kind of smoothen out that experience. As much as I love the first one, I bet going back to it and doing like inventory management without mods is just going to be the worst.
Oh yeah, but I still liked how dumb and broken that first game was.
You
want to talk
loved
about
that
an
first
Alpha
game.
Protocol award?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's for sure an RPG.
1 and 1A,
yeah. I don't know if I would have to look at. I'd have to look at True Trophies and True Achievements to see if there's any other large gaps.
I'm just going through my highest valued True Achievements ones. So like Eternal Sonata's up there, but no, once I started that, I was finishing that.
Yeah.
Even if it took me 3 playthroughs, I was finishing that.
I did even out my gamer score this week as well by using the fantastic game Threes, which I did not realize is, thank you to True Trophies, odd gamer score filter.
My nearest odd
recommended the game Threes, which all of the achievements end in 3 or 6. So I was able to unlock a handful of those and get back to 0, which I appreciate. Also, Threes is really good.
One thing I hope for is that Xbox will let companies mess with achievements more, and then just one company releases 1001.
Oh, no. They're so pedantic about that, dude. Like,
I know.
the indie games
They
I
will
played
never
that had
let
the
them do
3K.
it, but it would be
Yeah.
the funniest thing for me to see people flip their S on the internet because of that.
Well, I unlocked a couple of achievements in Elite Dangerous for like, oh, you landed in a space station the first time, you destroyed another ship for the first time, etc., etc. And I was like, oh, I wonder what the achievements are for this game. And I looked, and it was like 3,825
Yep.
gamer score, and I'm just scrolling and scrolling through like
Yup.
5, 10, and 15.1s. And I was like, never mind.
I don't know how it is on the newer consoles, but on my S, like it can't keep up if you just hold down. It can't keep up with the scroll for how many
Jeez.
achievements there are.
And there's a bunch of them in there that I know I'm not going to do. Where it's like destroy 10,000 ships. It's like no,
You would be surprised.
yeah. Oh man.
One day.
T-Bomb Rock sends us a question here on Discord. I was watching a YouTube video about new games made for old consoles. Xenocrisis came out for the Dreamcast. Also, hold on. Side effect here. A woman recently put out this incredible, I don't remember what her name is on Twitter. She has a GitHub repo for it. She put out an SDK for the Genesis / Mega Drive, which has enabled a whole bunch of people to make brand new Genesis games over the last 6 months or so. There have been like 8 new Genesis games that came out because of this cool SDK this woman put out. I retweeted it a while ago on Twitter. It's really cool.
It's weird because I remember reading a year or two ago that in Brazil, I think it is the Sega Genesis, that in Brazil, there are still companies there that are making games for the Genesis because for some reason it's really hot in Brazil and people still love it there. So they still are making new ones there or refurbished ones and new games for it.
Yeah, I think her work is called like the MGSDK, which is... That's a really cool thing. I forgot to mention that. Xenocrisis came with the Dreamcast, also the Genesis, and the reviewer was surprised to find when they booted up the system, it left a background theme. The game auto-stored a theme / background on the memory card, the VMU. I had no idea the Dreamcast could do this. I also had no idea that could be done.
Definitely.
Thank you. What's some of your favorite console features you found out way after the fact? That's a good question. I feel like the biggest one is always like the PS2 memory card when you load up the menu, those pillars, the pillars that are coming out of the bottom of the screen, like those are taller for the more games that you've spent the longer time in on the memory card.
Finding out you can change the save icons in those memory cards eventually.
Yeah, so many cool like PS1, PS2 animated save icons.
Alex Kidd. Because we got our Master System secondhand with no instructions, no manuals, no nothing, just a couple of games and a controller. We didn't know if you just turn the machine on, there's a game inside already.
Oh, right. I forgot that the Genesis didn't have one
before the internet.
Right. Yeah, the Genesis didn't have one. The closest we had was if you put Sonic 1 into the lock-on system, it said like, "Hey man, you can't do this," and you hit a button combo, and there was just like an endless stream of those 3D levels from Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, the one where you're grabbing the orbs. There's like an endless version of that. Yeah, I forgot there was a built-in game for that.
And that Sonic and Knuckles cart, though, you could do all kinds of crazy crap with that cart.
Yeah, there's. I feel like people are still finding some broken stuff where it's like, if you put this in and load it, and then you pull the cartridge out and you put another one in, you can play as Knuckles in this completely unrelated game somehow.
Yeah.
Jimbo Jangles in chat says, finding out you can turn the PlayStation logo sideways on the PS2 if you had it vertical. Yeah. It'd be nice if you could do that with like the PS5. Cough. Cough, cough.
Yeah,
$500 console.
I didn't realize, but I had it. I laid it horizontal, but I had the PlayStation thing like vertically, so it was sideways, and I never actually bothered checking.
That's great.
One of the things that I always thought was funny, and I don't remember what Xbox it was, but the fact that Master Chief was on the motherboard.
Yeah,
each of them.
Each of the motherboards on the Xbox and consoles have fun stuff on them.
Yeah.
Master Chief was on, I think the second run of the 360, not the original. I don't think.
Yeah. The fact that the little feety on the bottom of my PS4 are all X's, O's, triangles, and squares.
Yeah, the hard drive screw on the PS4 has all the symbols on the screw itself.
I think on the original PlayStation 4, it's the PlayStation Blue as well, whereas on the Pro, it's just silver.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The putting a kind of invest, but putting a gaming CD into a CD player and getting all of the music from the game.
Symphony of the Night having the famous one where Alucard tells you definitely do not listen to track 1. It will ruin your stereo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then the inverse of that was kind of a hack, but using the PlayStation 3 to spoof a local Wi-Fi connection while playing on the PSP.
Yeah. Yep.
That
was
kind
super
of
cool.
sick.
Yeah.
Anything with the PSP and Vita, like the weird ad hocing crap that you could do with it.
Mm-hmm.
The thing with the PSP where if you did something with the battery, you could homebrew it.
Yeah, you like flashed your battery and that loaded the homebrew software. Yeah. Thankfully, the 3DS was easier.
The ability to change the tone on the GameCube start off by holding one of the buttons, which I can't remember now.
Yeah, like sped it up or slowed it down and changed the pitch on it. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Didn't games eventually do that too, where it would do it in that game style, whatever game disc you had in there?
Oh, I don't know if I've seen that. Probably. That seems like a Nintendo thing where it's like, oh, I started it with this game in it, and there was like the bloop noise was something different.
Yeah. Or you randomly hear like Mario or something like that do his Wahoo instead of the dropping.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love hidden stuff like that. I feel like the Switch doesn't necessarily have anything like that, but I don't know if I've paid attention.
It does, but you've just got to hack into it in a very illegal way to get it based on
no
what
big deal.
everybody's saying.
Yeah, the current hacks that I've the custom firmware stuff I've seen for the Switch, because Nintendo is very ban happy with the Switch, understandably, is you have an Android device that you tether to your Switch that you can boot to Android on your Switch, but you have to have it connected to this other Android device, so you can kind of have like a normal Switch, and then you can boot into Android and not go online. It's really clever. Really clever stuff. Homebrew stuff is great. Custom firmware stuff is always great.
It's usually insane as well, though. I mean, come on.
Yeah. All right, that's our episode for this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. TVGP.tv is where you can visit us. You can find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1. Sorry, I just saw someone sent a question in chat. I'll save that for next week. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. Talked about all the cool stuff. Come help us vote. Help us figure out what stuff we're going to watch for Season 7 of Critical Misses. Season 5 and 6 have been a little bit of a different departure for us for stuff that we're experiencing. So for Season 7, we're going to go back to a heavy hitter. And you can help us choose between either the first 4 Alien movies or all 4 Mad Max movies. I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week. Bye.
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 Give us the 250. Scare Boston. Thank you.
That's right. That's me. God, we record a long episode this week, so Nimp, tell me your titles.
All right, I have The Less Stupidest.
Yep, I have that one.
The God's Pinball Light. Oh, it's a roguelike. This next one's a little long. Butcher version of hippie curtains. The Promise of Tron.
I have that one too.
And Biodigital Jazzman.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Tolkien English Guy.
God.
I hate it, but I love it. They Know What They Did. V-Goggles Dude. Controller Down, Volume Up. Trio of Idiots. It Contains Special Characters. Their Given Name. And That's Right, Agent.
I'm going to write down That's Right, Agent. The ones that I wrote down are Less Stupidest and The Promise of Tron and That's Right, Agent. I really like The Promise of Tron.
I do too.
Jimbo Jangles
I'm
in
fine
chat
with that.
says, "Insure your ship." That's just fun to say.
Yes. I'm fine with the promise of Tron.
I just think that is either a promise or a threat, and I think it's
Yes.
oh, I've got more Tron for you. Don't you worry. It's like, oh no.
I
Or,
wish
oh, yeah.
they had more Tron for me. They don't, is the problem.
Well, it's because they tried to move everything into the Disney universe.
Barf.
Was that? Yeah, and then that all crapped out, and
Tron Legacy is so good. Ah.
Both Tron movies are so
Yes,
good.
both Tron movies are very good. Tron Legacy is so good, and so many people just discount it, and I don't know why.
Literally watched it the other day because I was like, I need some Tron in my life.
Yep.
Well, and I've got those Disney Infinity Tron characters too. For I think it was 2.0. Those
Yeah.
looked cool. The
Yeah.
world was fun to play in.
Yeah,
It's just
Because spoiler alert, Tron is dope.
that's right. Hell yeah. All right, let me know when you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
I don't have anything, and I almost swore. So
That's how much you don't have.
yeah. Yeah, I'll figure something out. Whatever.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 699 from March 15th, 2021. The Promise of Tron.
I fight for the user.
May the Tron be with you.
Programs!
Yep.
All right, thank you very much, everyone,
End
for...
of line, man. End of line.
I know. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching and hanging out with us. We'll see you next week. Bye.